So if you meet a girl, Vic, right, and she's like into training, all of a sudden, like she looks like the great, nicest sweetheart, but she opens her mouth, and all of a sudden, she sounds like a man.
I'd rather her sound like one than be one, you know. These days, you never know. Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. Here we are, Generation Iron Podcast, with yours truly, Vlad Yudin, Edwin Mejia, and me, Victor Martinez. Sorry, Esan cannot be here today. Unfortunately, had a sad passing in his family. But we are here to cover all of last year's spectacular events, you know, good and bad. And of course, how we ended it with Mr. Olympia. Great Olympia. Wow. Come on, guys. What do you think?
That's all I have to say is
Yes.
wow. You know, we did a prediction when we were in Colombia, right? We did a prediction with you.
Yes, we
and
did.
We were completely wrong. He actually put Hadi in second place. I remember that. He was the only one to put Hadi. I put Nick Walker in second place. And I think
Yes,
he put,
Nick.
And I think you put Brandon Curry in second place.
Yeah, I put Brandon Curry, yes.
But we would never in our wildest imagination thought that Hadi
I
Chupin.
guess the guy that knows less about bodybuilding knew something.
But you know what? This is great, though. This is great. It's great to be wrong only because it should always be let the best man win.
Yeah.
You know,
Of course.
and it was one of those things that, yes, we were pulling for Rami. We thought Rami was going to adhere to what the judges were telling him since his first win, and he didn't make the changes.
So what happened to him? He was the conditioning was off, right? Is that
He's big. He's big. He's huge. He has all the muscle already. There's no need to build any more new muscle. There's no need for that. So for me, my eyes, from what I've seen in Rami, it was just basically refine. Basically, just keep chiseling on that muscle that you already built.
So maybe he was just he was on the wrong diet the last week or something, or.
It could be a number of things. For me, it was he didn't change his training system.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And that's the only way you can refine your body. It's diet is the diet, you know. I mean, I hope he wasn't eating, you know, entire cows and mules, you know, which I doubt. But in the end, it's just his training method had to change slightly.
Really?
The same old heavy balls to the walls kind of training that got him there, it was uncalled for anymore.
I mean, have you seen? So my question is, have you seen a Mr. Olympia fall from 1 to 5?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because like I mean, that's a question I wouldn't be able to answer. Just a lot of history, but
See, we haven't seen it, but could it have happened? Yes.
Right. But did it happen?
It
No.
didn't happen, and that's what
Right.
made some past Olympias slightly boring. I mean,
Because you know it's going to be at least second or first.
yeah.
yeah.
but-
You see them like called a second or third, maybe, but like 1 to 5 is kind of steep, right, for bodybuilding.
Yeah, come on. It's one of these things where, you know, people said, hey, Dorian Yates could have lost one Olympia.
Right.
Hey, Ronnie Coleman could have lost
Right.
one or two, you know.
But now go from to fifth place.
Yeah, not to fifth, but you know what? I think stirring the pot, creating that, you know, freaking, you know, change, I think it makes it interesting and
Right.
at least people waiting for the next Olympia, like right now.
Because they always say that for the Mr. Olympia to lose, he would have to be knocked out. So I guess he got knocked out.
Oh, yeah.
He got knocked out.
But also by the second guy, the third guy.
I know it was. I mean, it was a big worry from the beginning. You
Right.
know, again, I'm not here to speculate anything. Once he didn't show up to the Pittsburgh
Pro.
guest posing, I know
Oh,
people
come
are
on.
bringing that up. I'm
Really?
just bringing it up because it was circulating out there. This was
Right,
the discussion,
Oh, I
and
didn't even think about that at all.
people were talking about it, and I said, "Man, it's if he comes in great shape, there's no need for him to lose the Olympia. There's no, but when
I
you
didn't
bring
even think
that
about
up,
that for a second.
that flop, and again, he had his reasons.
That could have essentially taken him down a couple placings too.
Wow, I did not think about that.
So maybe it would be like it would have been top 3.
But this is the first time that you brought it up here that I actually was like thinking about.
Yeah,
Sure.
and again, I read, I see, he made the video, he apologized, but people kept poking at that bear, saying, you know what, it's gonna cost you, it's gonna cost you, and I'm not here to instigate it. It could have been that. My thing is, no, I think he just didn't make the changes.
Speaking of instigation, we have to address this Robbie Robinson interview that we did for the last week's podcast. I know the audience has been kind of upset about it because Robbie said some things on this podcast. I know we should address it right now. You know,
He said some things, Robbie. He said some things. Hey, Robbie, I love you, man.
Yeah,
But
of course. We all respect him, of course.
yeah, we respect you and all that, you know. But this is a different generation of bodybuilding. It's a different generation of physiques, you know. And a lot of these guys are good, you know. Maybe not great to his standard,
Right.
you know. But at the end of the day, you cannot compare, you know, a guy from the 70s and 80s to the guys now. Totally different. I mean, I think the smallest guy now is bigger than the biggest guy then. You know, more muscle, build it differently. We might display it differently, and we might not stay in shape all year round like they used to back in the days. You know, but to show the disdain to an athlete and not praising him for at least the placings that they're getting. I mean, they did it. It's done. They're awarded.
Yeah, I love the Olympics. I disagree with him, and I told him that during the episode. But he said something in the episode. He said the reason why the bodies are not the same anymore is because nobody's using. He implied free weights. Yeah. It's all machines or something like that. I mean, is there any truth to that? I mean, doesn't matter.
Could it be true? I mean, Dexter would be one of the guys.
I brought Dexter up in that.
Yeah, because it's one of those. Once your muscle is built, again, all you need is stimulation after that. You know, you're not gonna build it any different way. You know, now the quality of building the muscle, if you start right from the bat with machines, most likely would not look like free weight muscle. You know, because you get a little denser. You know, a little denser, more hard work.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's just gonna happen. Yes, and a lot of guys do use machines, but most of these guys that do use machines don't even compete, man. So they don't matter, I guess.
I guess not. Well, anyway, guys, you know, I know you're upset about the Robbie thing, but we shouldn't censor the man. He should speak his mind if he wants to. You know, it's just something.
He's allowed to.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we have the Black Prince of bodybuilding coming out next year, and I think it's an incredible story that people should really tune into, especially because someone like him, you know, overcoming so many obstacles, coming up from, I think he's from Tallahassee, you know, really crazy story, you know, how he grew up, really, really dirt poor.
Amazing story.
So it's like a pretty inspiring.
And that's why we had him on, because, you know, we got to pay respect to the previous generation, right? We always got to respect. Even they don't respect the new generation of bodybuilding, you still got to give them a voice.
See, but you're getting the platform to speak. But, you know, me looking in social media, there were a couple of other, you know, past winners of the Arnold or even top placements in the Olympia that weren't happy with the guys too, and they were voicing their opinion.
Jay Cutler said something?
Jay Cutler, no, it wasn't Jay. It was definitely, it wasn't Gary Strike. It was Rich Gaspari, you know, showing some displeasures.
Oh, yes. He said the lower backs.
Lower back
situation.
Yes, lower back. And
why
also,
isn't that conditioned enough?
Yeah. And also, my man from the Netherlands, you know, great.
Barry DeMay.
Barry DeMay.
He's the one that started that conversation.
Yeah, Barry DeMay. Man, Barry DeMay has the eye. He still looks great, you know.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just Robbie. So it's out there. The conversation is out there. You know, that guys did not come in to their best, and it's only great for Hadi Chopin. So it's great for him, even though I think Derek looked great. You know, but
Speaking of Hadi, I mean, you see the ovation he got when he got back to Iran.
Oh yeah, he's a national hero now.
I mean, that was crazy.
Deserves
it's
it.
Like
deserves it all. This is
he's great.
He's a nice guy. You know, stayed hungry. 1 year he wasn't even able to show up and compete after all that dieting and prepping.
Crazy.
And finally, he did show up to the Olympia. So his story, his journey, it's big. I think it's great.
That was his fourth Olympia, right? Fourth Olympia he did?
I think that.
Yes.
I think so.
Third or fourth?
Yeah.
I believe so.
I think it was fourth. I'm not sure. I think
Fourth,
it's
yeah,
fourth.
yeah,
But
fourth.
props to him. I mean, he's getting better, ovations than like Olympic athletes are right now going back to run.
I mean, it only happens in these other states, other countries. Here you're just another athlete. Everybody too busy.
There, you're
man.
a hero for the whole.
Nah, over here you're just too busy. Everybody too busy, man. It's too busy, too much ground to cover. And if they say, "Oh, you're a great bodybuilder," okay, we could point out another 20.
Right.
So I think when you're that gem from your country,
Celebrate.
like Hadi, you have to celebrate.
have
it.
to celebrate.
Yeah.
A lot to celebrate. Persian Wolf, he has a movie coming out in Generation Iron Persia now where we we document him in Iran, and Iranian athletes. It's a great movie. It's doing really well in the charts now too. So people are really excited about that too.
So today we're going to talk about, something that we've been requested to talk about actually is the myths of steroids and bodybuilding, right? But before we do this something happened just yesterday. I don't know if we should talk about this, but should we talk about
Well,
this?
I think you're referring to the Mr. Andrew Tate.
The most hated
Right.
and loved man in
Right.
the world.
So Andrew Tate, is covered on Generation Iron, as people know, and people ask, why is he on Generation Iron? Well, he was a former kickboxer. We do cover MMA, UFC, WWE,
Kickboxer as
everything.
a kickboxing champion, or he just kickbox?
I think he was a kickboxing champion. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's how he made his
But he boxed,
money, and now he has a
kickboxed.
Bugatti.
You go.
Is that how he got his Bugatti? Do you guys
There
know?
you go. So there it goes. You
Yeah,
succeed
yeah,
in
yeah.
that, the hate will follow. It's just
Right,
gonna
right.
happen,
So he got arrested
in
yesterday
Romania.
in Romania. I think he was going after that other girl on Twitter, the Greta. I think
Greta, man,
Greta,
how you gonna
yes.
go, dude? Like, focus on you, man, right now.
And,
Greta. No,
She had a
people-
pretty savage comeback, I have to say. On that
She
email.
has her
but,
wits.
But he came back and he, I guess, disclosed his location via the pizza that he ordered. It said Jerry's Pizza on the box, and that's how the authorities found out where he was. And
What was the accusation?
the accusation is that he was, I guess, allegedly involved in human trafficking and supposedly rape. I don't, obviously these are alleged charges, but I think he's been released already. He's actually tweeted already.
What do you think about Andrew
So,
Tate? He's
what do
like
you-
very
what do you think about
controversial. I don't know why he's so controversial.
Look, man, I don't know the guy. I see some of the stuff he says. It's a little crazy. I mean, people say disrespect women. Women disrespect themselves, man. Just leave that all to themselves. They do that all themselves, So I don't know. What is he doing?
What's the worst thing he said about a woman? I never heard anything.
What's the worst? No,
it's
the question
pretty-
is, what is the worst thing he said about a woman that a woman has not allowed to be done to her?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
I'll leave that up to Vic to decide.
No. And again, I don't know him. You got to play devil's advocate here.
Sure.
The guy's hated because he's speaking his mind on the trashy women, on the good women, on
Right.
and again, at the end of the day, women probably lining up to meet him, see him, go out with him,
Probably.
bang him out, whatever. So
Well, you just better make sure you don't piss off the wrong people. If you piss off the wrong people, you have the authorities knocking on your door tomorrow morning.
look, like I said, I don't know the guy. I live in New Jersey. You can order. My pizza is, Sacco Pizza. You can track me down. But I'm not having as much fun as him right now. He's single. He's bachelor. I don't know. What did he do? Who's the alleged rape?
He's
What
been banned
country?
on like all platforms. But he's still popping up in like feeds. You know what I mean?
Well, I think Elon brought him back on.
On
again.
Twitter, exactly,
Yeah,
on Twitter,
so
yeah.
He has a voice again.
Yeah, banned.
But I see him all the time on different people's channels on YouTube. Like it comes up all the time. But it's not on his channel because he's got blocked.
People love the controversial people and it
100%.
makes sales. I don't know. What is he trying to sell with all the controversy? I hope he's selling.
I think he's
something.
selling like a business classes or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's very popular. Obviously, we see how much interaction he gets, even on our platforms, and obviously our audience likes listening to him. It's obvious because it's just we see the engagement. It's incredible. But I mean, we'll
The
see what
audience should
happens.
tell us, guys, what do you think specifically about Andrew Tate? Do you like him or do you hate him? Let's find out. Let's do like a little poll. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
you should do a poll and specify why. I mean,
Why do you hate
because
him? Why do you love him?
The opinions that you don't agree with, agree to disagree. I don't know. But I do like to know who's the one accusing of rape, because
It's a serious
accusations of rape, I mean, as many as I've seen in the past, some of them are pretty frivolous, and they only seem to happen to guys that have a little, money in the bank. So that's always ironic,
Yeah.
I mean, I never seen a broke guy,
You never seen a broke guy? You never seen a broke guy get me too'd?
I mean, unless he get caught in the subway, in the train station in Brooklyn somewhere, then that's obvious,
The worst thing about it is, even if you're 100% innocent, is a stigma now. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Of that accusation. It's a very serious accusation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
That's
pretty
the worst.
serious. Let's see, I don't know, does he work through sponsors or any of the sorts? Like, some of the guys like Kanye West, does he fund himself? That's gonna matter if he is gonna be considered
100%.
guilty before being proven
100%, yeah.
innocent.
Time will tell.
Vice versa.
All right, let's get into the bulk of this. The most important part of this episode
Yes.
is the myths of steroids in bodybuilding. So we got this website here, and it lists a variety of different, I guess, possible health issues and consequences of steroid. It's called misuse. Not use, but misuse.
A lot of
I don't know what the
misuse.
difference between the misuse and use.
Well, we
exactly.
cover a lot of that as well here in Generation 9. I mean, across the board. I mean, in the past, I remember people would complain, like, how come you guys don't cover steroids? This is back in 2014,
Right.
2015.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you cover steroids? And we've covered it quite a bit with many doctors, many testosterone, docs, all these guys. And nobody would be, I guess, as valuable as you, Victor, to speak on some of those things. And maybe
What are you
I
trying
can
to
speak
say
on those
here,
things
man?
as well. But
Yes.
I could also speak to the fact that I remember, I guess I could lead off and say, in college I used to play baseball, and I was part of a Division I program at the time, and at school, and I remember some of my teammates, which I'm not gonna call out, but some of my teammates were on steroids, and then some of these guys would come home and be like, Ed, you're not gonna believe this, but I think my balls shrunk.
Wow.
So,
Facts.
and then another guy would
TMI.
another guy would go,
No, but that's facts,
I'm kidding.
yeah, and then another guy would go, hey, I just look at my back, it's full of pimples, and I look at the guy's back, it's like literally full of pimples, and some of these guys, were literally, their balls were really shrinking. And then I'm like, maybe I shouldn't try this stuff because I don't want my balls to shrink.
But that's facts. That's why I don't understand when a girl tells a bodybuilder, you know what? You got no balls to handle me. Like, listen, she's only speaking facts, bro. It's not stereotyping here, But it does happen, and the reason that's why when the anti-steroid publications were coming out in the late 90s, mid 90s, 2000, and it cleared out all of baseball and all that. It was geared towards the teenagers. They don't want teenagers using it. Yes, they do have
Underdeveloped bodies, basically.
Yeah, underdeveloped bodies. You have enough freaking testosterone come to really just get huge within the first 4 years of you working out. The problem is now, and even back then, was just rushing. I want to get there. I want to be there already. And I always say, the faster you get there, the faster you're out. So now guys are having, shriveled up nuts, never follow a post-cycle, protocol, and never had time off. They never follow time off regimen, which is a lot of factors have to go through. It's not just using it and stopping, or using it for a prolonged period of time and not expecting the side effects. Side effects are real. They do happen.
They do happen. So people's balls do shrink.
They do shrink.
That's scary.
It is scary, and again, I mean, it's one of those guys who would much rather, worry about how they look inside, because they figure, hey, my ball's on the wraps, and ain't nobody gonna be seeing them.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I'm not going to name another company here, but there's a sports nutrition company out there that was in the press for many years.
Right.
They got in trouble. But a buddy of mine that I used to go work out with was on their products, Rick. I'm talking about like regular.
Taking their products.
I'm talking about regular pre-workouts here. You know what I mean? Pre-workouts, regular like products, over-the-counter products. And, 6 months later, this guy was like ripped and shredded. I'm like, bro, what are you on? Like, he's like, oh, I'm just taking these products. And then it comes to find out
The product was laced.
the products were absolutely laced. And he goes to the doctor with his girlfriend because his girlfriend's like, hey, what's going on here? You're shooting blanks and, you can't get your penis up. And he couldn't get his thing up. And he's like, couldn't understand why because he wasn't injecting himself. So he was on these laced products. And we come to find out this company was in trouble for doing that exact same thing. Yeah. Years later, we found this out. And this is back in 2016, he would tell me this. That's crazy. Yeah. And man, this guy was maybe 30. He wasn't even 30 years old shooting blanks.
Not even 30. I don't know. I mean, I wish he would have told me what steroid he used because I guess I was using fake ones. Blanks here.
So do you want to go through some of this list here? You want to open up that site and go through it? Or you want me to list them?
You can go through it.
All right, so cardiovascular, high blood pressure, blood clots, heart attack risk, stroke, and artery damage.
Yes.
Would you agree with these, or is it over-exaggerated?
No, I agree. Remember, you're using steroids. You're not doing your cardio. You're not following a diet. You're eating like shit.
So it's a misuse, essentially.
That's a misuse.
Right.
Exactly.
Because you got to do it properly.
Yes. Yeah. You're getting, and most of these guys, 90% of the time, do not follow up with their doctors,
And proper blood tests.
Yeah, proper blood tests to say, hey, listen, you're using it, I know, but now you're going into the negative. They focus on their shoulders, their chest, their legs, and not focus on what's going on under the hood. And by the time they do, it's themselves. They got to take care of themselves. Yeah. If you're using it, you're poking it, take care of yourselves. It's nobody's fault, I mean, you can't blame your pusher. You can't blame,
the pusher.
Yeah, your dealer, whatever. The websites.
This one's an interesting one, and this one is called psychiatric effects. And if you think about like all the, remember those back in the day, those specials? I think Ben Affleck was in it. Remember that? Ben Affleck?
Man, the guy starts throwing shit around.
Yeah. So they call it basically a roid rage. So psychiatric effects, it says aggression, mania, and delusions. I don't know what delusions exactly mean, but I guess
delusion that you're not big enough and you take more.
Bigorexia.
Depression when you take too much and you don't prim it off and you crash.
So these are all real concerns.
Yeah, they have happened. Again, I did not experience it. I mean, I went to the Arnold. I got locked up soon after. I didn't do a post cycle. I was locked up for almost 8 months and. I didn't go through it,
Did you feel depressed in there?
I mean,
obviously anybody would, but like
being locked up.
Yeah, just being locked up, not seeing my kids. Other than that, I mean,
yeah.
That's the worst.
To be walking around the prison floor looking all mopey, I was like, nah, man, you gotta own it, live it, be it. That's it. But steroid depression or for no reason, just going into the deep end. No, again, it affects a lot of people that way. Again, there's the few that it doesn't, so it is possible. And again, these are studies, These are studies,
yeah. And these are, I guess, based on general, you know what I mean? Like, I guess out of 100 people or whatever. Like,
yeah, did they have roid rage on that? Or anything?
Well, that falls under aggression and mania, basically.
Yeah. So the aggression, again, you're an aggressive person. You take steroids, you're going to be more aggressive. It's just going to happen.
Yeah, it's what you, I guess, predisposition to.
Yes.
It enhances it.
Yes.
Right? What about skin? Severe acne and cysts, oily scalp and skin, abscess at injection
loss of
site.
hair. You got to add loss of hair there,
Yeah, that's one of them. That's in a different category. That's skin.
Yeah, but the skin, again, certain guys are not used to a certain ester. They'll start using it. They see the negative effect is happening to the skin, but they see the positive effect is causing to the muscle. They disregard it.
Disregard the skin issues.
By then, they freaking look like, they look like hammer time, their skin,
Do you think steroids also ages you as well?
It ages you in the wrong way again, doing too much, dieting a lot. It does. Some guys, it affects different people, I've noticed, because
Completely different, right?
yeah, because I've seen some guys who have used it. They're like, hey, I'm 40 and, oh man, you look 35. I've seen other guys, hey, I'm 40, but you look 65.
Yeah.
So yes, it affects.
This is a weird one. It says infection.
And then also, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was saying, like, libidos, is through the roof though, right?
Libidos.
It depends which one.
Yeah, it depends which one. Use trend. Most people think, oh man, I'm good using trend and sex. No, trend does not really make you sexual active. It's a shutdown. You could smash your dick with a sledgehammer. Nothing will happen. Using, trend alone, and they use trend and DECA, you're in for a problem, So it's one of these things you have to know how much when. That's why, most guys, if they say they are going to use trend, they must. Never recommend it to men over, a certain age. But I always say just combine it with a test, and you shouldn't have a problem. And try to keep it close to contest so you're not dragged using trend for like 4 months or anything,
Right.
This is a weird one. It says risk of infection, specifically HIV, AIDS, and hepatitis. I'm assuming that's because of the injections they talking about that. I
And
don't know
maybe
why
you're
this is
sharing
on this.
needles.
So if you're sharing that, I don't think that's
Yeah,
that's not
nobody's
a
gonna
real
be-
thing. Like,
Yeah, they talk about sharing, that's
should
a
not be on
that's
the-
a
that should not be on
1980
this.
report. Yeah,
this should
Yeah.
not be this should not be on the list at all. It's weird.
No, it's a 1980 report.
All right, what about this one?
And plus, it's one of those things where you're gonna have a little bit of exaggerations, just like the police
Yeah.
do with fentanyl and.
Right.
You touch it. Oh my God!
You
It's
die
got on
right
my
away.
skin. I got exposed. Like fake stuff like that.
All right, hormonal. This is for men and for women. This first one's for men, and then the next one's for women. I want to get your opinion on that as well for women, because it's a big topic too. All right, so for men, hormonal, decreased sperm production, enlarged breasts,
That's
For
more
men.
gyno.
gyno, yeah, that's right, shrinking of the testicles. That's what you're talking about. Male pattern baldness and testicular cancer.
Yes, the cancer has
probably-
not. I don't think I've heard of a single case of testicular
Yeah,
cancer
that's a scary one too.
from any pros, but it has happened to guys that don't even work out. So
Yeah, it's completely random, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it happened in one out of 1,000 that was using it,
They
and
put it on the list.
they blamed it on the steroids.
Yeah, that's interesting. It would be good. I mean, there's a lot of studies out there, obviously, that people are doing, and a lot of research that a lot of these doctors are providing out there. I mean, so it'd be interesting to learn a little bit more about that for sure.
Now, what about women here? Look at women's hormonal. Shifts.
Actually, yeah, that's an interesting one.
Voice deepening.
That's a fact. Yes,
That's a fact,
You
yeah.
use it wrong.
How well do you know about that?
Women, I mean, it's again, women. Unbeknownst to them, they think, oh, I could use a male hormone and nothing would happen. And all it takes is just one shot, one injection.
So when you meet some of these,
To change the voice?
One injection.
yeah. So let me ask you something. So you meet one of these girls, right? Like it could be like a bikini pro or fit wellness, fit figure, whatever. Are the wellness girls on it too?
Man, I want to speculate
I mean, I wouldn't
here.
know.
I
I mean,
don't
people-
train wellness. They are freaking ripped, man. They got some major muscle there. I mean, the only way you'll know if any woman is using it, just basically, you know what?
From their voice?
Just brush up against their skin, and if you feel that stub harder than your freaking beer whiskers,
Oh
dude,
my God.
Really?
Yo, that's the next thing. Look at this. Coarse skin. That's one of the actual.
yeah, and they get
So
that
let me ask
real.
you. So if you meet a girl, Vic, right, and she's like into training, all of a sudden, like she looks like the great, nicest sweetheart, but she opens her mouth, and all of a sudden she sounds like a man. It's like kind of weird. But like, it's because she's on something, right?
I'd rather her sound like one than be one, These days you never know.
But look at this. For women, decreased breast size. Well, for men, it was increased breast size.
Because it's
but for
turning into
women,
muscle, probably.
Yeah, just because
Interesting.
you have 30-40% fat on the breast, so when you use steroids, you lose the fat, and that's all that happens. Really.
And then excessive body hair growth for women.
Yeah, the hair, and don't
They also
forget the
age
major
too,
one.
right?
The age, and But the biggest one is the good old clit, you know, good old clit.
What happens?
Oh man,
That's not here, by the way. That's
I
not
know
here.
it's not there, you see, but in the meantime,
wait.
that's probably the most.
So if you like, this is for bodybuilders that like that dating bodybuilders, right?
Yes.
Those are some things that they should know, be aware about, right? Because
They
if they're
do.
trying to date a girl who's in bodybuilding and fitness, what is that exactly that they have to actually look, be wary of? Or
I mean, if you see the woman's big, I don't think what she uses. I mean, especially if you both in the industry.
you be saying down there, there's something.
You would not
I
notice
mean,
it if you
no, down there. I mean, guys like that though. You know, guys like that. There's actually more pros and cons when it comes to that, guys. So don't sleep on that. You know,
I guess.
you could actually, I mean, you can actually pleasure a woman 3 times more faster.
Wow, that's a talking point right here.
You know, and so it's actually not bad. You know, it's only a look thing. It's only a look thing.
Man,
And only if your penis is smaller than her clit, then you have a problem.
Yeah, that's not a good.
wow.
Yeah, but
But
I've heard that the pleasure level is at an all-time high, and it just makes them into ravaging.
I want to make sure that people are watching this right now. They're not like, we're just talking about these things. They're on a list. And
Yes.
We're getting an opinion. I want people to be like, Vic, why are you talking bad on the industry?
It's
people
not
always
talking
come
bad.
up
We're
with,
going through the list, everyone.
We're going through the
you know, there's many things that do happen. I mean, when I first started, bodybuilding, I remember I used to have a lot of the guys in the amateur rankings will call me with big, huge infections and, what do I do? And this is what's happening and the gyno and all that. And I was the one that I would learn from one guy so I could teach the other guy and I could help the other guy,
And it's good to have a list at least, right? As a precautionary,
You have to,
It's
but guys
important to
have
have
to
that.
know, listen, you have to have that time off, If you're under, 21, like don't rush to use it, You have your own best ability to really build that muscle.
Exactly.
Don't doubt yourself. Don't look at the guy that you're already is 25, 30 years old. He's big. You're 18. You want to get big. Take your time, man. Take your time because at the end of the day, you're going to do yourself a good deed. And at the end of the day, by the time you see what you build, you'll be satisfied what you build. You most likely won't even use it, because are you going to compete? Are you going to do anything that you need to cross over to the
risk
dark
got
side?
to be worth it if you're taking a risk.
Yeah. I
for
mean,
a
the
purpose.
risk got to be worth the payment. And,
Exactly.
now, steroids is geared. You see it as a $500 million business. Is for rejuvenation.
It's a lot.
It's for rejuvenation. It is used widely. It's not going to stop. It's not going to go away. I mean, I think the legal standpoint of it, I think is just a little crazy.
Sure.
You get caught with one bottle and whatever, they want to throw the book at you. I think that's
That
a
makes
little
no
crazy.
sense. Makes no sense at all.
I mean, treat a steroid using person like you would a crackhead being caught with a pipe or something, and just, give them a community service, but don't. I think ruining their lives is a little too far fetched.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, that was a good assessment, I thought.
Guys, just to recap, last year, best moment of 2022 for you
We're
guys.
celebrating New Year's today.
Oh man.
You're doing a plunge tomorrow, right? Tell people what you're doing.
Yeah.
So Victor, you're doing a plunge, or you did
I
a
am.
plunge.
I'm gonna do the plunge, polar bear plunge again. This is just to wash off and revive yourself for the year, 2023.
So you're going to Coney Island.
Coney Island.
I thought it was Orchard Beach at first.
No, Orchard Beach. Oh man, Playa Los Mojones, AKA.
That's your favorite beach.
AKA Chocha Beach.
Hey man, Orchard. I've had some really nice memories. I was born in the Bronx. There's a lot of great memories from the Bronx, especially in Orchard Beach.
Yes.
But everybody has their comments about Orchard Beach.
Orchard Beach is just one of those inlet beaches, that the water doesn't really circulate.
So you go into the actual water.
It's gonna be in
be
the
freezing
water. Lucky for us, I believe on Christmas it was like 15 degrees or 10 degrees. Yeah. And I was just thinking, man, if it's
How am I
like
gonna do
this
it?
on Polar Bear Club, it's gonna be on. Because that's the interesting part. You're gonna do it. The colder it gets, that's the main basis. But No, the focal point of it is charity, raising funds,
Absolutely.
local neighborhoods. And again, being a bodybuilder, they can't look at us, as just selfish. I have my reasons for doing it. Again, it's just giving back, man.
So
That's
can
it.
you talk a little bit about the charity and?
Yeah, no, the charity is for any neighborhood programs within the Coney Island, Brooklyn, Coney Island, Brighton Beach area.
Nice.
Nice.
And that's all just for nonprofit organization. Polar Bear Club has been going on, and been wanting to do it for a long time, and I was just too busy watching it in my own comfort of my own home and be like, these people crazy, and here I am, crazy myself doing it now.
Yeah, 2022 is over. I mean, just like that.
Yeah, and any tribute to the ones we lost last year?
We lost some great people this year. Obviously, we're not going to name them all, but some of the people that we personally knew here, amongst three of us.
Yeah.
Of course, Cedric McMillan.
Cedric,
rest
man.
in peace.
In peace, Cedric.
Jerry Ward, rest in
Jerry
peace.
Ward.
Eric the trainer, of course.
Eric
rest in
and Jim
peace.
Lorimer, man.
Jim Lorimer and Tom Prince, out of the people.
Tom
that,
Prince, man.
Yeah, a lot of
it's
great
been way
people.
more, of course.
2022 was a very tough year, to be honest. It's a tough year for everybody, and
Stuff. We have our
that-
losses. People just, if they could just take the time, reflect, think of someone you haven't spoken to in a while, because we're not here forever, everyone. So let's just,
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Every day
appreciate.
above the ground.
Yeah.
Every day.
And if you didn't have enough money to buy presents and all this crap because they're turning the holidays into consumer freaking things, don't worry about that. Don't get set up by that, all right?
Can't buy love.
Yeah.
focusing on health, nutrition, and mental health. 2023.
Yes. Mental Health 2023, man. And let's see who's going to take the Olympia next year. Is Hadi going to come back and take it? Ooh, Derek going to polish up? Or is Rami really going to go for the kill? Stay tuned, guys. 2023, Happy New Year.
Thank you, Generation Iron, for making this die funky. This is definitely not your official polar bear kind of weather, but you know what? It's for the cause. It's for the cause. We will take the beach today. We will take the beach. That way.
I'm almost ready to go get.
Guys, in the light of what happened in 2022, this is a good start, a positive start. Let's make it a great year, a positive year, a love year, a support year. Yes! Polar Bears ready? Let's take the beat!